Today is Friday. Today I also have PT. I just barely washed my hair with Neutrogena coal tar. Basically, I smell like a paved road. And I'm trying to kind of see if one of my symptoms of my entire problem can be managed. By the way, you've seen that I've had this symptom for years because whenever I go like this and scratch the back of my scalp, always in the same area, right there, on both sides of my scalp. I've done that for years, so it's gotten so bad during this time of my medical flare-up or whatever the hell you want to call it, like when my symptoms of all of my body were really bad, that got super bad too. And I never really like took it as something that I should like manage, or there was a symptom. Like I just took it as like my scalp was dry. I never saw it as like a symptom that would kind of like give me clues to things until it got really bad with all the other things. And I've just noticed like how long I've had this symptom. So anyways, that's why my hair is wet. I just barely washed it with a bunch of stuff that smells like the outside when you're redoing roads. It smells gross. I wanted to talk about like thinking outside the box when it comes to medical things. Like I've tried to do my due diligence of like working within the system, and I think I'm meeting so many roadblocks and I'm experiencing like debilitating symptoms so often now that like those two combined of like seeing people but basically being told that you're fine, or seeing people and basically being told that they don't really know what's wrong with you and kicking it down the road, or like not even being helped by the people that you're trying to get help from. Combined with my symptoms are no longer tolerable. That equals there's a giant chance of medical anxiety to happen. And there's a giant chance of a real loss of hope, because that's massive barriers to feeling well. So anyways, I'm not trying to like be all boohoo, but what I'm trying to do is like set the scene for like, this is very normal to have that happen. And I don't want to give up, and I also don't want to have you give up if you're experiencing things that are not tolerable to you or acceptable to you as far as like just living with things. You've done what you could within the system, and now it's kind of like up to you to keep going, but like what do you do? So I've been noticing that people, when I talk to specialists, when I talk to medical people, they latch on to one specific symptom. They don't see my symptoms as a whole. They see it as like, okay, so if I said I have itchy scalp, I have constipation, I have loss of orgasm, I have tingling in my legs, I have pain in my back. They're like, oh, you have a back problem? Muscle relaxers. Oh, you have a neck problem? PT. Oh, you have constipation? Drink a whole bottle of magnesium citrate. You'll be fine. So it's not seen as like a whole thing. My body is not seen as my whole body. My body is being seen as like the easiest symptom to like treat. And I feel like that that's helpful but also not helpful. So it's like there's like a tactic to like going to these doctors, because like you don't want to waste your time on a low-hanging fruit thing. You want to really hammer home like the top symptom that's the most bothersome. And so I think that's how I unlocked part of like my path that I'm gonna take on my own. But I just wanted to kind of talk about like what's been happening. So every single time I go to a doctor, including specialists, they're like, well, there's nothing really that wrong with you. I'm like, no, but there is. Please help me. Fucking please. I'm so sick of this. But okay. I'm the only one that's trying to see a pattern. And in fact, I understand that not everything can be explained away from like the same root cause, but at least I'm trying to find the root cause. And I was told during one of my specialist meetings from a medical resident that was like, well, after I explained all my symptoms, she just didn't even give it a thought. They could all live together and be explained by something really wrong. She just said, well, sometimes there is no pattern. Like there's the pattern that you're trying to see doesn't really exist. And like, while I think that that's good, I think that I'm going to explore both sides of that with or without your help. So, yeah. I feel so rushed when I'm in these doctor's appointments. And I think that that's like very common. The only time I ever felt like actual listened to was when I was being listened to by my naturopath doctor and during my consultation. And during the time where I first had my first evaluation with my PT, that was like, well, I don't really know if I can treat you today because it seems like you've got some complicated issues and you might want to get some tests done before I treat you so that I know how to, you know, properly pinpoint something that could be helpful. And he was not taking notes during the office meeting. He was listening to me, and he even said, my notes are not going to be available for other doctors to look at, even though I know that you have another appointment later. My notes are not going to be available because during this hour-long time that I have with you, I want to like listen and kind of suggest what to do and like where we're gonna go with the plan, even if we don't know what's really wrong. Like we have plans for lots of stuff. And I thought that that was great versus the doctor's appointments that I have been going to where they're literally like looking at the computer, typing away. And I'm like, did I tell them the right symptom? Did I like explain it well enough so that they can get it, that it's been going on for so long? Or this symptom just popped up with this flare up, right? Like I have like such anxiety about getting it out in time that, and then their non-reaction when I say things, and like it's not like an aha moment. It's not like I list like 30 things that are going on at the same time and these happen to get really bad during the flare up. It's not like they're like, do you know what that sounds like? It sounds like this, let's test for that. No. What I'm noticing is that they're not listening, or they're listening for key things that they can kind of like eliminate and charge my insurance as like, yeah, I did a good job, which is fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. I can't change it and there's nothing I can do to change it. And so like knowing that like actually helps my medical anxiety, because it like helps me not get pissed at them, but I'm still kind of fired up about it, as you can see. And I think that the fired up is good because it like gives me hunger to like just do more on my own and like see where the loopholes are, or see like what I can do. I see that there's roadblocks, and I see that these people are not listening, and I see that there's a commonality between that, and I'm just like, oh God. It's sort of like when you walk into a date and you immediately realize that this person is toxic. I walk into a doctor's office and I really immediately notice that when they're typing away and doing all of their notes taking so that they don't have to do note taking after, and like they're basically hurrying me along, they're not really present and listening to me. And so like, I don't even know if that's their job, to be present and listening to me. But it's not the best experience as a patient when you have stuff that's wrong. And I'm all fine and good to be educated by medical professionals that like, this test isn't medically necessary for such and such reason, or this theory that you might have about what could explain things, that's not it. And this is why it's not it, because you have proof in your previous exams or your previous blood tests or your previous something that the root cause that you're trying to tell me to test for right now, like it's not viable that we do that. So like that never happens. That never happens, and there's no like solution offered, like the PT kind of said. He's like, I don't really know what's wrong with you right now, but it seems like you've got some things that you should look at that might be like kind of bad. And once you eliminate that, you know, you don't have those things, then we can kind of like deal with it. And I thought that that was kind of nice. It was scary to be like, well, it sounds like these things. And you should kind of spend more time there than getting your neck kind of worked over by a PT. But anyways, so I've been noticing that like, it's not that I just picked a bad PCP. It's not that I just was referred to like a bad specialist. It's not that, like, they have commonalities because duh, they're in the same system. And so like, in order to keep hope alive, in order for me to like look at things from, you know, a different perspective and to not just like play within their system, I did like research on my own, which is like bad and good. This medical research that I do on my own is like, I try to make it as like science-backed as possible. Like if I'm listening to a YouTube video, I try to make it like I try to look at if the person is actually qualified to give that information. A lot of the time what you find is that like maybe a chiropractor is giving super detailed medical advice, which they may or may not have education, but it's not formal. So like when I go to like look at like what I should do for my pimples, I'm not looking at a beautician. I'm looking at somebody who like is a dermatologist, and like it says like YouTube is one of those places that you can see very easily if they're board certified something. And so I'm trying to really only pinpoint, is this an actual doctor? What is their specialty? And like, are they selling a product? Are they not selling a product? What's their benefit of giving you this information for free? Like, does it seem like they're a good doctor? Like, I've found so many channels that like just want to sell you their own brand of something. And it's so hard to, because people really want solutions, right? And so when you offer these types of solutions, when you kind of know more things than the general public, I feel like you can prey on people's like lack of getting treatment in the system that's very broken. And that's like a big weakness. But me as a consumer, I'm like, well, I don't want to fall to prey to somebody who's not actually going to treat me, but just like they're selling me their snake oil. Or maybe what they're selling me is actually good, but like I still don't believe that they're valid because they're not medically educated. It's complicated. So I think what's helping me right now is that I'm trying to listen to my body. So something that I'm doing is, do you remember that planner that I bought, that like expensive daily planner or whatever? I've never had a planner in all of my life, and I kind of hate planning my entire life out. It feels stifling for my creativity, but I get that it could be helpful in terms of productivity. And those sometimes are kind of at odds with me, because sometimes I just get like a feeling and I'm just like, this feels right to do right now, versus like, I'm gonna sit down and be creative. Like, it's not like that for me, and it never was. So anyways, organizing my entire day out as if like there was no room for spontaneity kind of like hurts my soul. So as much as I wanted to be organized, I felt like I wasn't using that journaling thing, that daily planner thing. And since I don't have a very structured life, I was trying to create a little bit of structure and trying to like get a little bit of focus back, because I have brain fog. I can't keep on task. Even if I really want to achieve a goal, it's hard for me to be like, oh, how to prioritize this, when in the back of my mind, my main priority is like feeling better. So anyways, I eventually started using my journaling thing to write down my symptoms. If I just wrote down my symptoms every day and what I tried as far as like solutions or what I'm doing, that helped me with my anxiety, but it also helped me with my hope. It helped me with my anxiety because it's almost like telling somebody like what my problems are every single day without really bugging somebody that like, you know, please listen to my crap. it's like telling this little book that I bought, please listen to my crap, and then I get it out and then it's done. It's kind of like a little, okay, goodbye. And then my brain doesn't have to think about it if it's just kind of like documented or something like that. So that has been helping with my like medical anxiety. And as I said before, I think medical anxiety is good because it keeps you hungry to like go get answers. Like once you stop going to get answers at like this point where my symptoms are really bad, I think that I could just, it could be really bad. There's a weird balance of that, of like letting my mind brain dump enough so that I'm functional for the rest of the things that I need to do while I'm not well. But also it like literally when I wake up in the morning, I'm reminded that I need to work on this, even though I don't want to work on this. I don't want to spend my time on this. I don't want to make YouTube videos about this. But I think it's important to make YouTube videos about this because I feel like a lot of people, including myself, have issues with finding the right tactic that's going to work. And I even like hate bringing this up because I know that some of my tactics that I'm gonna try are like giant like barriers to entry that you can't do because like the resources are just not available. And I even get that. Like I used one of my credit cards so that I could buy myself a test because I want to test something. I have found through my own research, through my Googling, I've taken my main symptoms that caused me the most problems for the longest amount of time. And I Googled, is it related to this specific thing? Is it related to this specific thing? Finding the center of the web, and I'm seeing if all my things are related. And I'm not a medical professional enough to know that if there's like 50 different explanations for the same center of the web. So I'm just trying one center of the web and I'm seeing if they're connected. I'm seeing what my body is doing every single day and I'm seeing what's going on. And I'm taking that theory and I asked my doctor, before I went out on my own, I asked my doctor, can I get a test for this and this reason? And I didn't just like willy-nilly kind of say my symptoms. I listed my top symptoms that should probably be looked at, such as loss of orgasm, tingling in my legs, blah, blah. I didn't say like all the other symptoms. Like I didn't say like the scratching on the back of my head, like who cares? I've dealt with that, that's not life-threatening. Loss of orgasm is also not life-threatening, but maybe it's a symptom of life-threatening. I have no idea. It's a pretty big symptom. It's a pretty big problem. It's not normal. Like you could kind of explain away constipation or stuff like that, but like stuff that is weird and not normal, I made sure to kind of say like these are the reasons why, because it was related to this thing that I connected. And I'm like, can we just do this? So that was me telling my doctor what I wanted to do, and then my doctor ignored me. And that caused me a little bit of depression, to be honest, because I thought that they wouldn't ignore me. I had gotten used to communicating with my medical team through my system in the computer. You don't have to call them, you don't have to like go and schedule an appointment. If you have something that you've already seen them for an appointment, you can click contact my medical team, follow up with something that I've just barely gotten done, and then you can send them a message, and then like hours later I usually got like a message back from my team that said like something. It said, no, we can't do this, or this is why we can't do this, or yes, we can do this, or you know, whatever. Have you looked into this, Michelle? There was like a response. So I think 4 days ago, I asked my PCP through the same medical system that they've responded to before, by the way. if I could do this for such and such reason. And there was no response, none. And if my theory is right, it's an easy fix for a lot of my problems, including my sense of smell and taste. It fixes or helps with almost every single symptom that I've kind of talked about. And so like, I thought it was a pretty good starting point because it's relatively inexpensive to do. And the treatment it makes sense to like check it, because I as an individual can see how all of the things are tied together to this one thing that explains a lot. And I just wanted to like look into it. Again, I'm not a medical like professional, but I think it's important to like come to your medical professional with a little bit of direction. And I wasn't expecting them to completely ignore me, which maybe I should have. But anyways, I didn't stop there. So I saw that they were ignoring me, and then I started to go to, because I feel like the clock is ticking on like, my symptoms have gotten so bad that like, if I don't do something kind of soon, then maybe I wait too long before they can be reversed. And so like, I've been highly motivated. It's not like I'm just sitting here constipated and it's totally fine. I just, you know, work on being not constipated. It's like a whole slew of things, and some things are more scary to deal with than others. And as I said, my little journaling every day kind of like keeps me on track with like what my symptoms are each day. Have they gotten better? Have they gotten worse? But also, what are the possible things that I have been like trying to do as far as like treating them. Like, I wrote down, I used Neutrogena T-gel, and tomorrow I'll see if it improves, and then the next day I'll see if it improves with continued use, however long I'm supposed to use this, and see if I have any like increase or decrease in symptoms. Like, I don't want to make things worse, but sometimes I do try things that make things worse. And that's like a risk versus reward in itself. It's sort of kind of like dating. You never really know what you're gonna get. You're gonna have to take the risk to see if your life is gonna improve if you add this person, or if your life was kind of better without them. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a risk that you sort of have to take, but it's medical, so it's scary. It's like, I still have to take that risk. I still have to do an action, but I understand that I could be like really messing stuff up, but I have no other choice right now. So I take like little risks that I kind of like research. Okay, if I take too much of this, what is the likelihood of toxicity? And then what is the signs of toxicity? Or is it like relatively safe to try out for a while, because even at high doses or something, there's relatively no downside, right? So like, those are the kinds of risks that I'm taking. I'm not taking insane risks. Like, I don't, like, whatever I'm doing for myself, I've assessed my own risk, because the things that I'm experiencing are no longer tolerable, right? So like, my risk is like, well, I'll kind of get this working, and nobody else is kind of helping me. So there is this whole like, don't handle your medical problems on your own because you could F stuff up. Yeah, I get that. But there's also, if you don't do anything, you're gonna mess stuff up. So it's this really fine, weird line of like being scared because there's medical professionals to help you, but then the medical professionals don't help you. So it's like very frustrating. It's like, at what point do you take things into your own hands and you try something? So I'm not advocating for like diagnosing yourself. I'm not advocating for treating yourself for really important things that you should be getting medical treatment for. But I am advocating for like thinking outside the box. And one of the things that I'm trying to do right now currently is thinking outside the box. And when I see a roadblock, I try to find another solution. So I went online after my doctor has been ghosting me with like, there's no response to, can you do this test? and I Googled, can I get this test done by myself? Can I pay somebody to do this test? So basically I found this test that I asked my doctor to do, and I paid for it myself, and I'm gonna get that done on Monday through a private lab. So I don't even know if that's gonna be helpful, but I'm gonna have more information. And it is a possible solution for what's going on my whole body. And it's an easy kind of solution. And I kind of wanted to start there. So that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about. It's like roadblocks. Everybody experiences them. That's not new. The things that you can do for yourself are to manage your things. Stay hungry, but also don't wind yourself up so bad that you have like massive problems, like mentally. You can't do too much during your real life when you're still kind of not well. Like you still need to enjoy your life a little bit. The things that I've been doing recently to like manage my stress is to get my body moving and to spend at least an hour on the treadmill to feed my body really well. When I wasn't doing that, because I don't really care about eating food, because I can't taste or smell food. So I've been trying to put in the extra time to like lay on my acupressure mat and to listen to audiobooks and to just stop obsessing and to like take the time to like, here's 10 minutes during the day where I can fully obsess as hard as I want, and I can just write it in my little journaling thing, and I can close the book and I can be moved on. Like I have a next step solution or a next step trial thing, and then I can stop thinking about it. I'm trying to help my body just be more relaxed. I'm trying to just do the right things that you should kind of do anyways, but especially if you're not feeling well. So I'm trying to have an outlet for stuff, and I'm not really sure if that's like my overall solution, but it's like helpful for me personally. It's helpful for me personally. When I see a roadblock, I think, well, I'm just gonna do it on my own. When it's not the solution, well, I'm just gonna try to figure out something else. Like, I just need one thing to crack the entire puzzle. And like, once I have that thing, I can take it to somebody who can actually help me. And you know what I mean? Like I can take like a physical evidence thing, or I can just be better and not have to involve anybody else. Like that'd be great too. So I'm gonna try some things, and I'm just gonna try to, I think, find different people to work within my system as well. I don't think my PCP or my specialists have been great. I'm gonna try to eliminate the not great people and try to get on the list of trying somebody else. That's not really a guarantee that I'm gonna find great, but at least I can have the likelihood that it could happen instead of like knowing for sure they're not great for me as for what I need them to do. They might be great doctors for people that don't have the certain problems that I have. I'm not saying they're not good doctors. I'm just saying they're not working well with what I have as presenting for the problem. So that's what I've been working on, and it's all obsessive for me. And it like makes sense that it's all obsessive for me because it's just getting bad. And I need to do something about it, but I also need to like not go crazy. I'm trying to maintain my hope. I'm trying to maintain my real life goals, but I think it's important to convey the message that just because there's roadblocks does not mean that you can't do other things, and the other things allow you to cling on to hope, and that's really important. So I just hope that I catch my stuff in good time before like things get too irreversible, if that's possible. I'm not really too sure, but I'm willing to try. So I'm gonna go to my PT today. Hopefully they will help me a little bit. And then on Monday, I'll take my test. And I think 7 days from Monday, I'll have my results. And then I'll have kind of like, okay, this was somewhere where I should spend more time, or this was a dead end. I don't have unlimited resources to like do this on my own, and so I'm just trying to do what seems the most likely first when I have resources, because duh. But that's my process of staying hopeful and staying kind of like not insane, because it can feel insane when like you're met with people that are just, you're fine. Thanks. Not fine. Like, I understand why my family is so not into doctors, but like I kind of sort of wish that they were, because like one of my like core ideas is that I have something hereditary, and my brother has been experiencing something similar but different, and there's so much unknown medical history in my family that it's not fucking helpful. And if one of my things that I think that is going on is the case, it's like this could help kind of sort of everybody understand what's wrong with them in my family. And it's like I have to do like the legwork to like see, but that's fine. That's the position that I'm in. But like, I get how like you don't want to use doctors because it's not fun and enjoyable, and like it's very frustrating, probably time consuming and expensive. Like I get that, but like also you're like doing your family an injustice if you don't really know all the tools that you have. It's sort of embarrassing to like go into the doctors and be like, "Ooh, what's your family medical history?" Well, I don't know. People don't talk about that in my family. And I'm not blaming my family. It's just like, well, if I had more information is definitely crucial during this time. It's literally exhausting, but I think that while I have the motivation to chase down these little rabbit holes that I'm grabbing onto, I will. But if there comes a point where like I need to give up for a while, I'll probably talk about that too. I don't want that to happen, but I can see how it could be like just something that you have to like give a rest for a little while. Anyways, it's not easy to just be well for me. I wish it was. If it is the thing that I'm testing, I think that I need to do like an overhaul, and I need to get educated in a certain area. And if that's the case, then I'll bring you on that journey. Because I had a part in my downfall, my inevitable downfall, if it is the case. But yeah, interesting. So we'll see what happens. So I'll update you guys when I know more details, but I just wanted you to know that those are my plans. That is what I'm doing. We're trying to move forward despite clear dead ends. Oh, one thing that I wanted to tell you is that finally my Hermes boots were completed in the process, and I was finally paid for those, so that sale went off without a hitch, so that was great. I wanted to update you on that. I also wanted to update you that I'm trying sulfur for my skin. During the day, I was trying to find solutions for the pimples that would come up from using the tretinoin and changing over to the higher percentage and getting used to that again. You get like this purge period and you get like irritation. For me at least, I get cysts. So I have been finding that if that is the type of acne that I experience, benzoyl peroxide gel did not work, and then Mario Badescu's drying lotion also did not work, and pimple patches did not work, and salicylic acid in a light form did not work. So I tried sulfur soap. Originally I had suggested it to one of my friends that had like little black dots all over their nose or whatever, because I had researched that sulfur kind of takes care of that. The little they're not blackheads, but they like look like blackheads. They like clean out like the stuff in your skin or whatever, and so it doesn't look like you have that anymore because it like takes it out. Anyways, she showed me a picture of her skin the other day, and it was nice. It was really great, and I was like, oh, maybe I should buy some of that soap for me. And so I used the sulfur soap in the morning after I cleanse off my tretinoin. So that is actually helping me more so than all the other things. So I thought I would mention that in this video as well. I'm finding solutions, but I'm also still on the path for finding solutions. But I wanted to update you on the possible things that could help you too if you were on the same journey with your skin. So yeah, sulfur. Smell like eggs and smell like paved tar.